Hello everyone, it's your host MX2, and in this video I just kind of go over the system that I use for creating this in geometry nodes and then setting it up to lift up as the camera goes down. So really it's nothing serious, but if we disable this one and we re-enable the capsule, we can actually focus in and take a look at its geometry node group. So this is what I created over the course of making this object, which is still very adjustable because we have everything still live. And then if we disable this and we enable the capsule farm, basically this is the system I made to deal with that asset. So I'm still trying to get my head around the idea of parallel animations happening inside of other animation systems to try to get to the bottom of what I'm going for. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. But if I let it play back, all it is just some capsules lifting up and showing their science inside, and that's it. And they lift up as the camera goes down. And I even managed to figure out how to get them to face inside the track that the camera's going down on opposite sides. So this one rotates one way and this one rotates the opposite way, of course. Good morning everyone. I figured in this 4:42 a.m. video I would just model something with geometry nodes. Why not just goof off? So we'll just jump over into the geometry node setup, and I am going to add a cylinder. And I've been really trying to approach geometry nodes as like a modeler, like challenge myself with a bunch of little small objectives that I fell at terribly, but I gotta try. So let's use delete geometry. Maybe not delete, let's use separate, because separate will give us what it takes as well. And so we want to delete faces, and for selection we'll just bring out a dot product and we'll connect a normal to the first, and that means that, I guess it means nothing if it all disappears, right? Alright, so I'm just going to look at it from the front, and we want basically the front. We just need -1 and maybe -1 on the X. You know, I keep hoping I could just move it over like that. That it's that easy, but for some reason I just haven't figured that part out yet. You know what? I bet it's I could probably use a clamp on it. Alright, so what we want is just to split this down the middle, but we don't need such high numbers to do that. Maybe something like that. Take a little bit off of the side. I'm just thinking about, because it's going to open up, and however much we have is how much it's going to open up. So, you know, we're bringing half over here, so we should be able to get rid of half. So something like that, and we're good to go. Sorry for the weirdness. It's early in the morning. You know, I previously spent the last hour with my kitty. You know, my cat is so weird. She like does not enjoy me as a human. You know, my girlfriend says it's because I gave her anxiety. So yeah, earlier she decided she wanted to just hang out with me. It's like, alright. Hey, what can you do when you're being blessed by a cat? But now, you know, she's gone. She'll probably be meowing in the background. But now we've turned this into a solid mesh. In fact, if we look at the face orientation in the Alt V menu, we see that one of these faces needs to be flipped. So I'm going to put a flip faces in here. And, you know, as I add all these nodes, I just think of it like procedural modeling. You know, people's always wanted to have everything be parametric, and here I am kind of parametrically assembling this thing very slowly. Alright, so let's take this and we'll put a reroute and then another reroute, you know, just to be fancy. And then join, and we'll join them together. And if we bring our viewer down here, you can kind of see what I'm going for here. And with this piece, we can put a transform geometry on it and make it open, right? And that's the idea, is that we make it scale inwards just a little bit to close, and then we make it rotate outwards like so. So I've been messing with a lot of mix rotation. Looks scary because of all the stuff attached to it, but really all we need is for it to, I don't know, -90 looks good. So now we at least have that on an animated slider. In fact, we bring this out to a reroute. If we Control H, we don't have to look at all that anymore, but we at least have that now, so that helps my brain. Now whenever we're inside, we do need to, we could also mess with the extrude. For example, we just extrude it the other way. That could also work. And that could be easier. But if we do that, we also have to flip the normal, so I don't know if I can think like that so early. I'm telling you guys, I'm a failure. I'm a failure with nodes. Alright, so if it goes negative, we just put a switch. That one, never that one. For some reason, when you type value, you first get bake value, and that shouldn't happen. Greater than or equal -1. We'll trigger this with the alternative being a version where the faces are flipped. Sorry, not trying to get too complex here. You know, hopefully it just works and I don't have to think about it any further. Let's jump to the end. Let's try that. You know, we could make it just disappear when it goes inside and it just reforms back into being a cylinder. I should think about this for a moment. Also, I hate dealing with the normals in the middle of modeling so intimately. It's just terrible. But the CD does have a vibe to it, and I've just, let's see, if we have it greater than -1, maybe it should be greater than 0. And I think I got it. Once I flip these. I wonder if there's an option to just flip these. Nope. But there's not an option to just flip them. That would be crazy. So look, now I don't even know why the normals need to be right on the inside. It literally does not matter. And then on the outside, let's see, yeah, that's solid face, so yeah, that one also needs a flip action, so it's right here. I'm gonna press Control-Shift-D and just get rid of both of these, but keep that. This is what we have it doing generally. This is what we need to do alternatively. And of course I'll need to flip it because just my luck. No, look. So now the normals automatically flip. So sorry to take so long on that, but puppy life. And so now it'll rotate out the way, and then we can have it collapse inward. But we do need the face to flip. So was it right the other way? And for some reason that made it all look completely different. Alright, and then we pull it inwards, and for some reason we now suddenly see the entire thing, which I don't even know what's happening anymore. I guess receiving messages will be part of this video. I'm telling you, I've become a election counselor. But look, it'll be all right, guys. We just gotta get back to modeling. Alright, you know, actually, even though this is, we want to put this on like kind of a machine, so we don't want to do that. Let's cut that out. So what we want to do is this one, we do want to map to 0 and 1 because it controls the rotation. Let's look at this. For some reason it's looking off now. Is it rotating more than it's supposed to? Alright, then we extrude it. Do all of that. We do a little bit of combining. Alright, so right here, something wacky happens. Where'd the rest of this mesh come from? Right here, things get wacky. Why? What did I do wrong? And what comes out of this side? A whole thing. The flip version is this. Okay. And we see where it went wrong. So we go back to this and we analyze what we have going on. Stop freaking out. And we have our door opening up. Alright, nothing major, just a door opening. So the next thing is we want it to happen also on the other side. Also, we have to double check our normals because we were obsessing over the normals. They have to work out. So you know, 0 to 5 will be that one. So we'll map range, and I'm going to put this inside of a group just to simplify it because, you know, we've been looking at this thing for a minute, getting obsessive. So we'll go with 0.5 to 1, or actually let's go with 0 to 0.5. 0 to 0.5. And then for this one, we'll go from 0.5 to 1. We'll also connect it, except we don't want those values in the, oh wait, 0.5 to 1, and this will be to 0, so it's in reverse, I think. Let's look ahead and install it just to double check. One should close it. Yeah, why is it closing at 0? So we look at this and we go from 0 to 1. So we want to go from maybe 0.5 5 to 1. Let's try it. And it's because, you know, we're going to 90. So if we wanted it different, we would probably need to reverse it. Let's think about this for a moment. Because we're doing it to one side and we need to do it to the other. And for this one, we don't want this one maxing out at such a high value. My numlock on. Alright, there we go. In fact, we'll divide this by 2 a couple of times. Divide by 2, divide by 2. And I like it, except I want it in reverse. So we could actually go here, take a look at this. We could maybe make this negative 90, make this 0. And now whenever we, but that was a mistake. Let's not do that. Let's take a look at this again. Yeah, whenever we close it, it reforms into a nice cylinder. We just want to flip these two. Nope. Why are we looking at flip normals here? Alright, on the switch it chooses to why is this and this being joined? It's not extruded. Alright, we're here tricking myself. So this piece is getting joined in a flip state. You know, I think it's because we have them sitting right on top of each other, so let's change that to maybe even negative. Alright, we jump back to the end. I know, over here blowing my own mind. But yeah, I've been struggling with nodes. Just node struggling. And normally I would just give up and run away. But I'm like, I gotta stay because, you know, they came for auto smooth, right? And because they came for auto smooth, that means they're gonna obviously come for other nodes in the future. So it's like, maybe we should probably get a grasp of what Blender's trying to do here, because they're not gonna back up, or, you know, sometimes I expect like they're gonna put out a memo and just be like, hey, we change our mind. Like, okay, you know, would we fight them? I wouldn't. Maybe a little bit. I'd be like, hey, it's kind of weird. So for this one, we are going to just scale this -1 on the Y. And what this means is that now we have both doors shutting. It's just that easy. Except for the part with the damn normals again, right? So we need to put a flip normals in here. And then we can look at ourselves again. But also we have merged this with pieces that probably shouldn't be merged. We should be dealing with just, let's not combine that. Just yet. You know, just thinking ahead. Like, I've been having problems with making meshes half faces sitting on top of each other. I mean, of course, use remove doubles, but really I shouldn't have them laying on top of each other. It's been kind of interesting learning how to model, but using nodes now. I mean, I'm not even saying I recommend it. I'm just saying, like, it is a thing, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Like, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? And I'm getting invited. Like, I should just bail out and just go hang out with my buddies, guys. But no, I'm being facetious, of course. I'm known for isolating myself. And basically, formerly I'd play video games, but video games are just not what they used to be. So let's plug in normal. I was about to plug in a position, and all we want is that one. You also could have that one. Alright, emails. I should just take off my watch. I'm telling you, one day to be able to blend, I'll have to take off all my clothes, take off all my equipment, go in a Faraday cage, and then I'll be able to blend. Just kidding. I'm just making jokes. Alright, so what are we going to do with this? Well, I am going to extrude, but cancel, and then scale, and then plug at the top, and then extrude, but this time plug in the top and go up a little bit, and then do an extrude, and then scale it in place. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing, right? We'll go to wireframe. So basically I do an extrude. Sorry, shouldn't be showing that. And then I scale it in, right? And scaling it in looks like that. And then I extrude it. And extruding it looks like that. And then I take that and I'm just extruding the top face, but not doing anything with it. And then I'm going to scale that down. So we get that. And then I'm just going to extrude that. And we'll plug in that top face and just bring that up, and we're just kind of making just this like little top hat thing. But I'm losing the plot here. So we want to go back a couple of steps and maybe bring in a repeat node. So under utilities, there's this thing called a repeat. And I'm telling you, it's been a journey for me to wrap my head around this stuff. Like, I'm telling you, if I come out and I learn vector math, that means y'all should definitely have learned vector math like yesterday, because I don't even know math. Like, I've run from math, and that's how, that's how it works with me. So we're going to plug in the geometry, and I was hoping it was just going to work, but we got to plug in the top in the end, and now it works. And what's cool is we can go and adjust this thing and mess with the offset and just get wacky with it, right, if we wanted to. But that is a very good case for the repeat being a thing. And while I had to execute it in the form of a bunch of nodes, to get to these nodes, that is pretty crazy. And I mean, the for each is also very crazy. Like, as I play with it, I'm like, wow, they are combining meshes with volumetrics with curves, like in the same thing. It's like a super life form, like a alien life form of like mesh. It's like, ZBrush has pixels, and 3D Coat has voxels. Blender's gonna have alien formless data creations. I don't know. I sound like I'm being facetious, but it's actually very exciting. Like, I'm like, whoa. That's why I can't complain too much about the auto smooth thing. Like, sometimes sometimes you lose auto smooth, but what you gain is so much more potential. And I mean, I'm just being a weirdo right now. I'm just being random. Like, right now, I'm just being random. But one day, I hope to have much more purpose to what I'm doing. Maybe one day soon, while old, getting blind. Every minute at the computer, blinding. Alright, and so that's what we have, and this is what we're dealing with, right? So we want to slide open. Oh, I was looking for the wrong side. Almost was feeling like a failure. And when it opens, this thing will rise up, you know. Anytime people are dealing with election issues, I just tell them about how they like Star Wars and the Sith rising and, you know, the Jedi rising. I'm like, you just gotta let the Sith rise and the Jedi rise and the Sith rise and the Jedi rise. I mean, look, I don't even like the movies anymore. I'm so over Star Wars. But, okay, Sith gotta rise. So what we'll do is mix. You know what, we'll put it at a factor of 1 and let's just copy this value and we'll paste it. And copy and paste has been kind of weird lately where some things just haven't been copying and pasting. I mean, I don't know. We're just gonna mix this too, and you know, for that secondary value it could be 3. And then we can put a map range. I just love map ranges. Map ranges is the only thing that makes sense to my brain. So that's it. That's all we need to switch for. And that's our group output. We'll just keep kicking that can along. Hey, if you delete it, this thing starts not working. Sometimes I'll delete it because I'm like, I'm not even using you. And they're like, hey, yeah, you are. You just don't know it. Like, as I saw the improvements to the viewer node, I was like, wait, the viewer node displays indices? Man, that has to mean something. So I'm back. You know, every time I leave geometry nodes and I come back, there's like a little bit more information that they convey. And the more information I can see, like, if I could start seeing vectors, man, that's what I want for Christmas. Like, Blender, show me a vector. We're not even entirely flat in here. Okay, now we are. And we probably want to flatten even sooner. So let's say there we go. Let's take a look at what we have here. And for this thing, even though we joined it this way, we probably want to do a transform where we scale it negatively on the Z, because that's how much of a hack I am. I could rotate it or something like that, but instead I just got to scale it on the Z, flip the faces. That's what I'm always thinking now. I'm like, I'm a hack. But not in a bad way. Just in a way that, you know, I watch so many tutorials and people are just like, yeah, you just paint it red and you're done. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, I don't think about all the other stuff. So sometimes it is just that simple. So we got that one. And we also want to connect that one, but we want it to be the second one because we're OCD, right? So now it opens up. It's like a Toonami intro. It is. It's like a Toonami intro. So we should do something about the bottom face. So there was a point in which we had the bottom face, which is right here. Let's for some reason I find myself using a lot of statistic because I'm just, it's the only one of these attribute bastards that treats me right. It treats me right. Just gives me all the information in the form of a dot, not one of these freaking diamonds, which I know what the diamonds mean, you know, being filled, and then the diamonds with the dots, but hey, in my head, it's just like, arg, these freaking diamonds, these diamonds, get these diamonds are freaking mean. And it's because they're like across everything, like they're like not just a static value. But anyways, now that we have this, we could just I was about to spawn an entirely new cylinder, but if we keep it all the same in the end, then we could probably have some fun playing with the numbers, right? So now we have the cylinder, right? And I just want to transform. Can we scale this down on the Z and then place it at the position? Okay, there we go. So sometimes you got to ask Blender and God, you know, if things are possible, and you get blessed with a Trump presidency. I'm just making jokes, I'm sorry. You gotta make jokes, guys. I'll always make jokes. It's like gallows humor. So now that we have this, and we put another transform because we want this whenever we join it. Let's make a join. I know this is getting all crazy, but hopefully it only gets like just only a little bit more crazy, because I'm on a quest, and you know, every day I feel like I'm getting closer to the answers to the thing that I quest for, which is, how do you make Blender do this? Like, how do you make it do this? Because if Blender's able to do this, then I want it to be able to do that. Like, if I haven't mentioned it already, I'll mention it again, and I'll mention it 100 more times. I do not like that Blender added such an advanced feature that I don't understand. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I'm thankful for it. I'm not complaining in that regard. I'm just saying they've added a complex thing that I don't understand. And as a result, like, now Blender has a very large sector I don't understand. So it's like, what the heck? Dang, I'm like a noob again. I'm like a Blender noob. No matter how hard I model, I could proceduralize it in a way that would be beneficial to me down the road in varying ways. So I'm looking at this, and sorry, I'm overthinking. Let's press SC-1. That's what I'm thinking in my brain. And we'll join both of these together. For one of these, the normals will have to be flipped because of the choices made. And let's take a look at how our normals are doing. Someone didn't get the memo. And I think it's right here. We got the memo to flip the faces, but we didn't get the memo to flip the faces. So now once we flip the faces, we can then flip the faces, which then flips the faces. Sorry, I sound probably like a weirdo all early in the morning. I'm telling you, I was just being peaceful with my cat. I was like, I should make a video about an energy capsule. So now we have this, right? But this is our graph, and it's just so much, but it really isn't. I mean, you've watched me put this whole thing together, and we do want to do some exploration of it in the end. So what if we did get it together, you know, like label it, because opening these files and seeing everything unlabeled is just hell. If actually you look at this and you can just tell what exactly what's going on. You're separating it, you're hitting it with the dot products to just capture it on the normals. Like the moment I saw what this did, it reminded me of the normal node back in the day. Like really they need to bring the normal node back where you drag the ball. Like once this is being replaced with dragging a ball, it'll be like, it'll make much more sense. Also, we need quick icons at the top so bad, but let's not detour. Let's continue forward. I know I promised I was gonna organize it, but you know, in a way it is organized. It's built like a giant ray gun. You know, that's when you know you're doing good with nodes, right? When it's a giant ray gun. And this is what we have so far. What we want is in the center to be a icosphere. So let's join again. And I already saw that the inputs are changing, so this video is going to be like out of date, but it doesn't matter because I'm not trying to be in date. And let's just instance those on points like so. And for this, and let's take that. I'm just thinking out loud, and being random. Like I said, this video is about being random. Rotate instances. We'll grab this and maybe something like that. I'm just being weird. And to be even weirder, let's scale. And that's the one we want. So we'll just do a map value. They really don't want to give me a map value for this thing. Look, I pull this out. I'm like, can I have a map? Is it map value? It is map value. Yeah, they're just like, hey, you can have a map value. Maybe I'm asking for the wrong node. Okay, maybe it was a map range. Okay. Maybe I'm asking for nodes from Subsys Designer. Sorry, I'm over here losing it. And we'll connect that to the input, but I'm not going to find that input we had. We'll just go with this one. And we'll put we'll make it start from 0.7. So when it opens, science is happening. It's like, what science is that? I don't know. Maybe Furial's unfolding a quasar. And you know what I've been struggling with lately with nodes is smoothing and dealing with smoothing. Like, I mean, which sucks because smoothing used to be so trivial in Blender, and now they've made it all crazy. But hey, what can you do? I'm just making it look a little pretty, you know, just in case my mother asks to see these nodes. Add more redirects, dear. No, I'm playing. In my mind, my mother would sound like a old pioneer grandmother. All right, so from here we will just scroll and open and close, and I think that is looking pretty good. In fact, we could slap some materials on it and have some fun with the next level of it, because I mean, that's like level 1 of being a weirdo, right? Like, you know, it'd be crazy is if we put like some alternating extrudes around on the other side, but that would be freaking impossible. And by impossible, I mean, let's see, we're sitting in this geometry. Pull that geometry back. Let me talk to him. Let me talk to Youngblood. Alright, I want these two. Oh, I like how they just let me take it and they didn't try to extend the group around it or anything. They call that, let's see how everything worked out in the end. Oh. You know what? One of these didn't work out, and it was probably because this one was set to individual. Let's go look at it at the end again. And who else is individual? There are no individuals in our extrusion today. Alright. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah, so we were here, and we were like, yeah, I'm going to extrude everything except for what's in the middle. So in my head, I saw what I would need to do, but I just realized I don't know what I'm going to do to make that work. Well, let's give it a try anyways. So, you know, first we want to do, okay, no, we're choosing what we want to extrude. So we've already scaled it down, turned it into this. So now we want to extrude it again. And we want to extrude these faces. But here's what we don't want to extrude. Face neighbors, face count. So compare. Alright, so that's that. So we at least have those. But also we want like every other one. And I'm just making sure we're not creating a bunch of interior faces. Interior faces are ugly. Like that would make me. Also, we don't need this to play over and over. I know we're getting weird right before we jump into this repeat. Like the nodes are getting compressed over here. We're just getting weird, having fun. Alright, so far so good. Now we just need, from this result, I knew it wouldn't be that easy. It would be this easy though. And so once we have that, it's not going to be this easy. I mean, how's it going to let us select faces? Greater than. Alright, we at least have it now a harsher conditional because this, for some reason, this one won't do. And we'll just do, or, we connect both of them, we have that, and we actually want that for this. Elements, we have our selection. There we go. I don't know why it's black and working, but I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Oh, wow. So look, we have it there, and then we send it in here, right? And when we send it in, okay, we want to choose what's our top. Our top is not that. All right, our top is something else now. This one's gonna be a toughie. All right, so our top for this is actually I thought it would be that, but no, we want there we go. That is our selection. And will we get the result that we want? No. Yes. Alright, alright, alright. So, don't ask me what I did there. I won't try to explain. No, I'm playing. I'm just having fun here. And we look at the one above, the one below, and we now have some little teeth. I mean, I know, terrible. A lot of work just for some itty bitty little teeth, but you know, maybe we need to protect our asset that's inside. In fact, as I look at it, I'm like, hey, that's a map range. Where you at? Map range comes in clutch, as you can see. So alright, and let's bring this down to 0 and maybe bring it there. You know, and we could even delete that face and do a merge if we want to get all tricky with it. Like, I should try to do that, create like some sort of like tricky merge face deleter, but I'll get caught on a side tangent. So input, group input, that was not the input I wanted to connect to. You know, Blender should maybe ask about that. And we want this to happen from, you know, point 0.6. And maybe even in reverse. So this one will be negative 1.5. So let's see what we got now. And that might not even work out because, you know, now we're hiding the thing that we put on the inside. But let's take a look at it at the end. Wow. All right. Please don't judge my crafts. And then you have the timeline play. So it's like, hey, we got these quasars, but they're in prison, right? Because, you know, they're bad quasars. Like, they do some terrible science, right? Like, you don't even want to know what they did to the last people who tried to study them. So let's go back over here. And this is good and all, but they intersect. And intersections are never cool. So what's crazy is we brought this whole cylinder over here. Wait, we brought the cylinder over here. But right here we're modifying the piece that we're sitting in. So we're dealing with the separate geometry of the top face. And I don't even know how I would even begin to group these things. Alright, we'll just make a little bit of room here. And what we want to do is extrude and then scale it. I know, right? I'm so original. People be like, oh no, he didn't. Oh yes, he did. that, and I'll give him a selection because apparently it's needed so bad. That's kind of crazy. If I was trying to make a rocket, which I'm not in this video, but that was like another study I was doing, that one would have been even more frustrating. Alright, we want this to be on the inside loop. Alright, getting desperate here. Alright. It might be worth messing with the one that allows it to cave inwards. But let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and look at this at the end, because I'm losing my mind here. My mistake. Shouldn't be losing my mind so early in the morning. Alright, so I do like what I'm going for here, which is something a little bit smaller, a little bit less, you know, the bars were kind of big before. So we are extruding right here. And this thing gave us basically a checkerboard that we're able to use. Like maybe we could repurpose this by grouping it. But hey, if I grouped it, I would call it checkerboard ingon omitter. Be like, what the heck kind of group is that? Group I wouldn't reuse ever again. Alright, let's pull back out and look at this. So we have our doors. Bam. You know, quasars contained. Alright, gotta contain the quasars. Also, it might help to do some scaling of those assets, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. So now that we have this, we can like literally reuse this anywhere, like including in other graphs, which is maybe something I was missing, right? Because everything has been simplified on this to just me pulling a single slider and the whole thing animates on the timeline, right? And so, you know, my question would be, hey, how in this graph would I have this do this other crazy thing? And that's where the answer actually for me has turned out to be not to do that. So let's hide this. Let's add a cube and make a whole new graph. And we could always go back and mess with that one. And let's do a instance on points. Let's bring in our capsule as a group. Alright, I'm trying to drag both of these, but for some reason, yeah, there we go. And usually I change it to be on points instead of on, it changed to be on face instead of on points. But yeah, now that we have our little capsule over here, we can just slide them open. We slide all of them open and they all animate. And just like that, we've created an entire lab of like quasar experiments where we can just get in here and just look at our science. Like, yeah, suspect B5250 spinning nicely, spinning good. There's some good quasars. You know what? I'm gonna go to lunch, and then we can have them close. And this is where I struggled because I want them to close, but uniquely, like over distance, right? So let's see. For that, I want to set up a camera. And we'll make this the thing that's active. Let's bring over our camera. On our grid, let's look at proximity. But proximity does not do good. Oh wait, my mistake. They're like, what? Alright. Let's math. What math you say? Well, add ain't gonna work. Let's try power. Power has really given me back the power lately. It isn't going to today though. Points. Maybe not that. Point. And we'll actually connect it to the position. So that way we have a point where it is. And then we connect it to geometry. So if we look there. And let's try math again. This time we'll use multiply. Multiply stronger. It's like add, but on acid. And I bet power would have worked. It just wasn't on the right viewing system. And we'll color ramp just to tighten that up too. And now we have the camera getting the respect it deserves. Alright. Proximity's just been good to me lately. I should start looking at node timers because I be choking the viewport to standstills. But that's neither here nor there. Map range. Maybe not that one. And basically we want that connected here. It'd be crazy if it did anything. But no, that wouldn't work. And I don't even know if this is going to work. I'm just getting weird right now, just experimenting. You know, plugging diamonds into circles, which will never work, alright? How do we want this to work though? Because these are diamonds. We could start plugging them up over here, but it won't give us the result we were after either. So let's just get things straightened out. Really think about what we're going for here. Alright, so we'll use our old friend. I don't even like this solution, but I guess it makes sense. We'll use for each. Alright, so for each face, we want to instance on the points. 2 points, mesh to points. We want to turn those faces into singular points. We can go ahead and get rid of that. We can get rid of that. This thing's going to connect only on the outside. And not there. Never there. Let's press Control H, hide that one. I never need that one. And see what we got. We got this mesh coming in, converted it to a point. We're then instancing this on a point, and at the end we are getting that. And as a result, we now have an index we can connect to the input. So as it runs through this, it will give us something unique, but we want to actually put our color in here and then use our color to drive it. So if we grab our camera, they open as we go through. So, you know, they're like business quasars. You know, they only show whenever the big wigs are coming through. But the moment that we pass, they are gone. Alright. You know what would make it nicer is if they turned it face to me, and, you know, suddenly I just turned to look. It's like, what? Raggy? I wouldn't even know how to set something like that up. I would need them to rotate not on their normals at me, but only on the Z, which would be an inordinate amount of questions I would be having to ask someone to annoy them. But I probably will, ending this video now that I'm like an hour in. But of course, the goal is not to end an hour in. In fact, let's look through this again. Alright. In fact, we only need we need mini rows, but we don't need, you know, maybe something like so. And for this, we want to just rotate the X. Let's turn up the PP. Alright, and I am out of here. And by out of here, I'm closing all my cylinders and leaving. You know what would also be cooler is if they sat on the floor. I was about to move them to sit on the floor, like a noob. Let's not do that. Instead, let us let's transform these, and we'll go from here to here. Let's try a mix. You know, we haven't mixed in like 20 minutes, so, you know, I'm losing my mind. So let's grab this, paste, expected a number. I gave you a number. I mean, I'm copying and pasting your own values, bud. And whenever it's off, we want these below ground. So they just, boom, they pop up when the boys come to town. Alright, so let's try placing them in. And let's bring the camera up. Wow, I could see some really interesting loops being made in this fashion if done right. Like if I was thinking in terms of like math, and you know, I'd have to put these like on a knot or something, but it does look rather trippy. I wish I could make it more stepped, and I bet there's a math for that. Just a good old mathy math. Maybe it's snap, 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 snap. That's if we wanted them to shoot straight up as the camera came near. Which isn't a bad look. But if this was on a ship and you were going across the deck and these were like firing up, this would look pretty. I mean, obviously this is a very simple idea. We are snapping too hard. You know, I kind of liked it when it was graceful. In fact, let's press I. We'll set a keyframe here, and then we'll go to frame 200. We'll set a keyframe. Set a keyframe where there is nothing to see. We'll press I. Set a keyframe there. So now at least. And let's press T. Make that linear so it's like a Terminator's doing it. More mechanical. And as far as getting these to rotate the way that I would like them to, for today and today only, just kidding, I'm going to need to probably do it in a hacky way, which means do one side and then rotate them. Wait. Oh. We'll rotate them like so. We could have them rotate on instances as it goes. Mix. Yeah, now I'm really just getting random. Like I'm telling you, I was trying to end the video so I could go get back in bed before I get in trouble. But let's assume trouble has already found me. No, I'm playing. It hasn't. But let's assume, no, I'm playing. And let's plug up our that is actually very trippy. I just get hypnotized by very basic things because I'm an idiot. Alright. But the other side needs to rotate the opposite way. So I bet I could say like I don't even want to index modulo half the max, and then you would have it do the instances on a different rotation. Let's try that. There's no way what I'm seeing in my head would even make sense. Alright, so statistic, the face, oh wait, we want the attribute, and we want the geometry, and for this we want the max. And we divide it by 2. And we also take this and do that. Hey, something happened. Wait, what happened? Alright, let's see. Where are they rotating at? Let's mute because my idea probably is not going to work. Alright. I just know my other idea would have worked. The caveman idea. That one. Ooga ooga, let me tell you. But let's think about this. Let's think about this because we should be able to get half of it. Maybe it is just... Maybe it's just index divided by 2. I mean, that wouldn't make much sense. Wait. On the other side, why do they look like they're facing at the camera? Why does it look like it works? Are you mocking me? No, there's no way this... Okay, no, it didn't work. I'm like hallucinating. Alright. Okay, and so we did want that, which would trigger it to happen. What? No, okay. It only looks correct at the very beginning. Okay, so I'm literally outsmarting myself. So I wish I could see the grid itself. There we go. And let's see the index. And let's math it up. How many spans do we have? There 12. Like, how would I get half? You know what? Maybe it's just simpler to just greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then this is 12, so greater than 10, so basically greater than 10, of course. Greater than 10 is 11, and we'll do it, just take an integer here, and why does that work? So as long as so if we have access on the outside to basically what the integer is, then on the inside, we should be able to also do the same thing. And subtract just went into the second value. If we look at this in the end, maybe if I stored a name attribute that told it which one was flipped, that would do the job. Alright, let's think about this. Let's think about this. You know what it was? Outside food. But I don't believe that either. Except we see it rotating to face it on the opposite column now. And we see it rotating to face it on this one. So when I walk through my laboratories, I want my experiments facing me. Alright? Even if it took an hour and 15 minutes to do. Alright, so being too hard on myself here. Actually feel elated for figuring it out because it was a little bit of a pain. Alright, so this is what we're looking at now. And with these instances, we could always we could scale them down to be like thinner. But of course that scales the icospheres too, so we don't want that. We would have to go and make that a modification on a capsule level. The other thing is that they're just popping out of just air. It would be cooler if they popped out of like the ground. So let's make some mistakes. We're gonna extrude. And then we're going to join, and one day viewer will just be some eyeball, not a literal like node, and it will be so great. And we'll just merge. And if I wanted to make this video multiple hours longer of me struggling to figure out basic vector math, to the shame of everyone and everything involving math, I could do that. Had to pay for that. Had to pay to watch me suffer with math, for reals. That might be the limit, right? Like self-torture with math. There's math teachers who would pay to watch me be tortured with math. They're like, oh yeah, look who we got. Look who we got. All right, so I was looking around for my cylinder like earlier. There is no cylinder like earlier. So me making meshes manifold is part of my, habits of messing with booleans all the time. So let's get the statistic of this face's position on a vector. And we want to use that to, sometimes I want to set position, sometimes I want to transform, but basically I want to place this cylinder at every face precisely, so we can deal with that the way that we're supposed to. That's what our transform geometry is getting us, right? So we want to join geometry, and we will just connect like so. And I think I once did like the intro for hard ops this way, using a completely different system. I think I was using like a different add-on or something, but hey, we're back again, baby. Let's use a subdivide, just because I don't like that geometry just being skewed like that. Like, you know, I like looking at wires, but if I'm looking at wires, I'm gonna look at some good looking wires. Hey, I could watch that forever. Just play, watch me add to it, make it forever. And if I do that, it will just mess everything up. But we should do that. We should make it longer. Just to make sure too. Wow, spread out, it looks crazier. Alright, I was about to add more of these, which I might add a few, you know. I have to, guys. I'll put as much science as I can for you, okay? And we'll just set the keyframe here. Boom, 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 boom. Don't touch the science. Boom, boom, boom. These are all closed off to you, but believe me, they are doing great scientific things. Like, we've had more discoveries in the last hour than you'll have all day long. Alright, and so we'll just press I, and it will just sit there. We're just having fun with this, just a little randomness, right? That was like the purpose of the video. Except I do want to go back to the capsule and just like do some stuff to it. So let's take a look at it now. You know, we haven't been on that graph for a minute. We're now back on that graph. So let's get rid of capsule farm. We'll just hide that, bring back capsule. We'll just take a look at this, and you know, with our original cylinder, let's see how good we did. First of all, I haven't saved. GN capsule video. We'll just put an RAN at the beginning just for, so that way it's randomness for when I put it up. And first thing we want to do is lower the segments. Let's lower the segments. How weird can we get? Hey, that is pretty fire. I mean, I'm not supposed to impress myself on videos. I'm just only impressed with proceduralism. All right, I'm not impressed with, like, I'm not like fart sniffing. All right, I'm just looking at it thinking, wow, being able to go back and adjust it after the fact. I mean, this one's a really simple asset, and I want to be able to take the booleans that we use to make things and turn those into dynamic adjustable things that can then be, you know, replicated forward and reused in creative ways, you know. So it's not you building everything out of literal nodes. But let's get back in here. So, you know, we were separating our face, we did our extrude, we scaled it, and then we managed to basically extrude every other face. When we extruded every other face, wait, that's right here. That's right here is where we extruded every other face. We also had an opportunity right here with our selection to basically scale it down. like, what the thing is, they both need the selection. Because the thing in the end, it was a little overblown. So we're just making sure that we don't want the bars completely locking people away from the science, because you know the science is important. I keep talking about that because I'm referencing like a Justice League meme from back in the day about don't touch the science. Alright, so that already pleases me. Alright, so let's go back to it, because the base being so basic is also a thing I have an issue with. So this is us with the base. I want to make some edits on it before. I mean, we could edit it before it gets to. Did I make a secondary? Okay, I did not. Sometimes clicking things underneath this, you don't even know what you did. But you done did it, son. Alright? And that's not good. You know what, we'll work with this. We'll work with this. I'm doing it live. Extrude, selection, dot, normal, -1, and that gives us this piece, right? Nothing brilliant. I've just done it so many times now that that part has been drilled into my head. That's my goal, is to build this, build these habits in myself. And from here, what we want to do is scale this out. So let's scale. But how deep do we want it to go out? Probably not too much, or else we're going to start messing with the hole a little bit. But we do want to grab that, probably extrude our selection just a little bit more. So maybe something like that. That's at least an improvement in my eyes. You know, it would be crazy if I separate geometry, got just the edges. Oh, I guess not. Alright. Curve then. Can you be a curve now? Okay, good. And from here, instance on points, and we start using cubes. I'm just thinking on the fly here. There's nothing impressive, just a box. Is it? Maybe it is a cube, but it isn't cubes. You know, you can't ask for more than one, like it's a Christmas present. And we want this to. We want these to be rotated on the normal, but we want it to. Rotation is another aspect that, you know, brings me no end to pain having to deal with it. But every day I either get lucky or getting lucky. But in all seriousness, I'm either getting lucky or making small progress strides whenever it comes to dealing with these things. But I want my spaceships, alright? And I need them now. I mean, I could just be using other people's spaceship generators, but no, I want spaceships that I can show tours of on the inside. Be like, yo, these are Furial sleeping quarters, dog. Alright, and so something like that will do, at least to me. And we will just place that here. And now we have a little bit more going on with it. In fact, we could always go back and modify this. I mean, there's so many parameters I could be exposing if I want to make this a dynamic asset, but in all honesty, the assets I aspire to make are so much more complex than this that this thing is kind of nothing to me. But that's only because, you know, the stuff I really have in mind is like every asset you've ever seen me make, but dynamic is kind of what I'm thinking in my head. All right, so let's bring back up the farm. And sure enough, that hole ain't big enough. All right, so let's press home. Let's focus in. This is our graph. We know who did this damage. And if we were able to bevel it and reverse to normal and all that and get it nicely wedging on the way in, that would be great. And you know, the little particle balls, well, not even particles. Like, why is my FPS so bad? Look, I'm gonna buy a new computer over my FPS being so bad. I think AMD came out with a new processor, so I gotta get in there. And you know what'd be crazy is if Blender had a node search where you could type in like, hey, I'm searching for ICO because, you know, who did this? Who did this? Who put these here? Okay, we do want random value, but we don't want them. We don't want to control 3 levels of parameters. We just want. All right, something like that. And do we want to give it one more round of subdivision? So there's some real science happening in there. Maybe yes for the points. Maybe not so much for the simplification though. So now we have something like that happening, and we probably would want to make their positions change too, just to be weirdos. So let's set position and let's noise, but we want to subtract. I think it's -1. No, 1. Subtract nothing. No, we have to subtract something. All right, so we'll subtract 0.5, but you gotta subtract something. And we'll put this on the normal. Scene time, and we're pinging at scene time a lot, aren't we? But now we have something a little bit more livelier happening. So let's get rid of our capsule. Let's bring back our farm, and we now have our sequence playing out. I should deal with the smoothing and the shading, so that way I can frustrate you guys for another half an hour. But really, I should wrap this video here. Just letting the science just come forward. But now I wonder, what is making the timeline so slow? There's an option to see the timings. Dang, 6.9 seconds. Wait, milliseconds. 6.9. Dang, use one mesh boolean and alright. Oh, what? Come on, bro. I was only using float and not even exact. Like, why are you doing me like that? You take my FPS down to 3 over 1 boolean. Hey, you boolean, not even once. Look, that's just one. Look, that's not even that bad of a boolean. All right. I might leave the audio tracks in these videos that I'm uploading just because, like, I'd be vibing. Like humans be, they be human and hard, alright? Let's look at our capsule. Okay, you know what it is we're reusing this already, so it doesn't matter. It's not dynamically updating like that. When we expose it, we would need to mess with the actual parameter that's here. You know, if we expose it, and in fact it is exposed now. But we don't need it exposed, so let's go ahead and remove that. And there we go. So, taking a look at our result. Geez, that boolean is a bloodbath. It's the boolean, the bloodbath boolean. That's what I'd call it. See, they don't even want to show me. They're hiding it now. Like, where's that boolean? The one that's killing my scene. Because what's more important? Seeing the science? You know, it'd be crazy as if we deformed it in a cylindrical way and then had these like instants out, and then it would just rotate forever and you would just see these pop out, always exposing the science to the viewer.